In November 1930, a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle entered a remote Inuit village near Lake Angikuni, expecting a lively community. Instead, he found a terrifying, frozen silence. Pots of stew were still hanging over cold fires, and clothes were half mended. But every single person was gone. Where did they vanish? LaBelle searched every single hut, finding rifles and precious supplies left behind in the biting cold. In the Arctic, leaving without your weapons and coats is an immediate death sentence. It looked as if time had simply stopped for the villagers. But what kind of force could cause such an instantaneous flight? The most bone-chilling discovery was at the edge of the village cemetery. LaBelle found that ancestral graves had been systematically emptied. The ground was frozen solid, yet something had dug deep to steal the dead. Why would anyone take the corpses while leaving the living's food untouched? What was the true motive? Nearby, LaBelle found 7 sled dogs tied to stunted trees, all dead from starvation. To the Inuit people, these dogs were essential partners and were deeply respected. Abandoning them to such a slow, agonizing death was culturally impossible. It suggested that the villagers didn't leave by choice. What power forced their hand? Terrified, LaBelle fled to the nearest telegraph office to alert the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Officers arrived days later, only to confirm the disturbing details of the vanishing. Yet, as they began their investigation, they realized the timeline didn't add up. Was the tragedy even more ancient than LaBelle had first described? While the police investigated, strange reports began to surface from neighboring areas. Trappers claimed to have seen pulsating, bluish lights hovering over Lake Angikuni on the very night of the disappearance. These orbs didn't mimic the natural aurora borealis. Could these mysterious lights be the primary cause of the mass human abduction? Decades later, investigative researchers began to question the massive scale of the Anjikuni mystery. While the story of a vanished village is legendary, official police records from 1930 are strangely silent on many details. Some historians suggest the numbers were vastly exaggerated. Was this a cosmic event or a sensationalist journalist's invention? If the villagers truly left, where could an entire community go without leaving a single footprint in the deep snow? Some suggest a sudden environmental threat, like a gas leak, caused a mass panic. Yet, this theory fails to explain the desecrated graves or the abandoned dogs. Was the terror internal or external? The story gained global fame after being published in North American newspapers. Over time, the details became increasingly sensational, turning empty pots into cursed relics. We must ask, are we investigating a genuine historical tragedy or a masterpiece of early 20th century fiction? Is the truth hidden beneath layers of modern, creative storytelling? Modern skeptics argue that a village of that size would leave a massive archaeological footprint in the permafrost. Yet, subsequent searches near the lake have failed to find any permanent settlement remains from that era. Was the village much smaller than claimed, or has the shifting ice swallowed every trace of their existence? Could the disappearance be the result of a violent raid by unknown outlaws? While possible, there were no signs of any struggle or blood in the snow. If a hostile group had kidnapped the villagers, why leave behind valuable furs and weapons? The absolute lack of violence makes the silence even more terrifying. In extreme Arctic isolation, Arctic hysteria is a documented psychological phenomenon that affects entire groups. Could a collective mental breakdown have led everyone to wander out into the frozen wasteland? While it explains a few people, a whole village succumbing simultaneously is nearly impossible. Could something in the air have triggered it? Today, Lake Angikuni remains a place of eerie beauty and dark rumors for paranormal investigators. Amateur sleuths still visit the site, hoping to find a single button or bone buried in the ice. The case remains officially cold, but for those who believe, the lake still holds a dark, ancient secret. The legend of Angikuni serves as a haunting reminder of how fragile human life is in the wilderness. Whether it was a supernatural abduction or an exaggerated tall tale, the story continues to grip our imagination. It represents our deepest fear, that an entire life can vanish in a single, silent moment. The mystery of Lake Anjikuni continues to haunt researchers nearly a century after Joe Labelle's discovery. Was it a supernatural abduction or just a massive Arctic legend? The truth is buried deep beneath the ice. Like this video, subscribe to World of Mysteries, and comment below, what happened to the lost village?